Hello, welcome back. Today we're going to continue with our study of Xplat, but today we're also going to look at another framework for developing a backend web apps. So this is going to be the NestJs framework. Essentially it's built on top of Express, although you could use the Fastify as well, but we're going to be using it with Express. One thing to mention about this framework is that this one is basically designed to solve the issue of architecture, because like for example with Express you can just write your code however you choose, while the NestJs framework provides more of a set methodology in how you write your code. One thing to mention about NestJs in relation to the Xplat is that it does not have a built-in Xplat architecture support, and you will see exactly what I mean as I start installing this. So we're going to go back into our terminal. Actually, let me open this here, and so that we can see what we're doing. I'm gonna go in the terminal, and we are already inside our monorepo folder for nx-workspace. So let's do this command that we should all know by now. npx actually, nx. I'm going to call it tutoring API. I'm going to select Nest. Routing, yes. As you can see, it says right away, generating Nest app in your workspace. Just so you know, Nest does not have an Xplat supporting architecture layer yet. So it may be coming in the future. However, what we're going to be looking at is how to set up our own sharing layer manually. In the meantime, we're just going to wait for this to install, and I will see you once it's done. Okay, now that our installation is done, we should probably take a look at our folder structure here. So as you can see, unlike before, we did not have any extra folders generated inside the Xplat folder in the root directory. We also did not have anything else added to libs, like libs just stay the same. Now over here in the apps folder, we got our Nest tutoring API. So this is essentially our project without any shared libraries. There's no shared libraries between this project and libs, and no shared code between this project and Xplat. Now that can be changed, like if we want to add anything that we want to share with between libs or Xplat into this project, we could always import it in here based on our tsconfig JSON, which we saw earlier. When we installed our Angular web app, and when we installed our native script app, this file automatically updated. As you remember, when we first set up our entire workspace, we only had extends tsconfig based JSON. Like essentially right now we had to add this because of some changes that were happening in the NX workspaces and the current development that is happening in the Xplat community to update the whole system. So over here we had extra stuff added. So for this import for libs, my workspace/web for importing our index import barrel from web, my workspace/web star, this is another location kind of duplicating this, and then my workspace native script and my workspace native script/star. Essentially these two locations represent this native script folder, and these two represent the web folder in the Xplat location. This one here stays the same across projects, it's the libs folder. We will actually be using these shorthands to import things as we start working on the projects in our workspace. That is something that you will see as we actually start developing apps using the Xplat architecture. Now that we looked at tsconfig file and the different anchors that we got here, we should probably move on and try to launch our NestJs application we just installed. To do such a thing, Let's open a package.json file. And unlike previous apps, as you can see, there is no entry for our NestJS application. Now this has something to do with the Xplat not installing its configuration, but what we're going to have to do now is to put in our own launch sequence for this NestJS application. To find out what we need to do this, like over here, we can just call it whatever we want, but I'm going to keep it up to a standard. So start .nest let's say tutoring API. Now to find out what command we should use, we need to go into workspace.json file. In this file, we should be able to find our app. Here it is. NestJS Nest Tutoring API. That's the name of our app. Over here we have the different commands that can be done inside such this project. So we need to serve this thing. So we are going to do serve and then the name of our project. So let's copy this, go here, do nx serve, and then just paste this in here. This is it. This is all we need to do. Now we need to take a look also at what endpoint our NestJS app will go. To do this, we're going to go into our Nest Tutoring API app, and then from here we're going to open main TS file. So it is going to be going at the local host and then the port. We don't have the environment port defined, so it's going to be 3333, and global prefix by default is API. Here it is. So let's launch our app first and foremost. Let's go npm run start.nest.tutoring-api. I believe that was the name. Nest-tutoring-api. Yeah, Nest-tutoring-api. This is what we need. This is the string. Let me just copy this, and I'll just do npm run and then the string, and now we're going to start it up. So it says the server has started. Now let's see what it will act as. So if I'm just gonna go to localhost colon 3333, I'm gonna get a 404 error not found. But if I'm gonna go to /API, now we're getting somewhere message, welcome to Nest Tutoring API. So this is the default endpoint where we can go inside our app. We can change that, of course, but that is more of a NestJS tutorial. And here right now we're just dealing with the architecture still. Okay, so this is it for this tutorial. And actually, before we go, let's take a look at what other commands we have here for Nest Tutoring API. So we have serve, lint, and test. So if we wanted to also test this, we could copy this test and put it here. And let's see, for example, I want to do test.nest.tutoring API colon nx test. And then the name of this thing, the name stays the same. Save this thing. And let's try and do exit from here. And instead of start, we'll just do test instead. It'll probably fail because I think the default tests are for this thing, they fail, but it shows the idea of how it works. Actually, no, it all passed. It's all good. Okay, so our tests have passed, and now you know how to actually put in new commands from the workspace into your package JSON and how to install the NestJS system in your Xplat workspace. Plus, you've seen how the libraries get shared based on whether they have Xplat supporting architecture or when they do not have an Xplat supporting architecture. I hope this helps. Let me know what you think. Like, comment, and subscribe. And have yourself a good day, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.